All right, once you pressed start, there's no going back. Good morning. DreamBot for the 1st of October, 2025. Has definitely noticed something. It is definitely observing something. And I'm happy to say that it looks pretty positive, expansive and positive. Right now in the astrology, since we're on the 1st, this is at 9:05 a.m. is your live chart. We start with the sun in Libra. Justice, balance right around the corner. Peace and harmony are at your fingertips. Still a grand air trine that's very transformative. And a kite. Well, that's pretty much waned out with the sun at least. Virgo will initiate this grand air trine once again and create the kite. If you've been around for a while, you know what that is. Pushing towards the ideal self, but it's highly a mirage down here. Saturn in Pisces, Neptune in Aries on the cusp. And so we have the sun, Libra. We have a waxing gibbous moon post first quarter, ready for a full moon here shortly. I think it's on Monday. Sorry to spring this live on you. I didn't have any I don't know, like really strong inkling of when I was going to start or could start. Okay, so what's next? You want to look at the DreamBot itself? I think that'd be a good idea. Right here. October, number 1. Oh, I have a strangler. Looks like I didn't finish this. I meant to drag this yellow arrow off so it doesn't mean anything. There's like several like really low level memes in here. So I grouped these so the orange arrows means nothing. All right. That's that. We have the red and the green. The red is the strongest theme, and it's about extreme, expanding, and very positive. And here's why I think it's positive. Learn. I think learning is the positive across negative and positive experiences, all experiences. Some of us don't learn, and then what happens? The experience gets stronger, or just a pattern develops, so that hopefully you gain awareness of what it is you came here to learn. Okay, so felt, add, share, write, as in correct, very, date, need, promoted, to, like an extreme to, or also. Help is positive. Learn is positive. I guess you could have a negative learn, like learning a habit, a bad habit, or an addiction. That'd be a bad learn, I guess, maybe, unless it's, again, if it's supporting why you're here, why you agreed to come down here, then you're learning, and then it would be positive. So, but anyway, I think there are legit like positive feeling states, expansive states. And so I'm thinking it's almost too positive. Eh? And then we have the green arrows, and this is observing, awareness, and finding. So you have the hidden in there, but let's start from the top. You have chat, audio, vision, browser, music, interpretation, hidden. So, like frequency, awareness, expanding, finding is in there by the hidden, and interpretation. But observing and awareness, chat, that's how awareness progresses or can progress. False awareness can also progress. So there you have it. There's a little bit of like kind of math in there. Well, 2023, that's a kind of alarm bell again. No answers for you, but it has been 2025. I don't know why it skips back to 2023. There's something there though. There is something there. It is mild compared. This whole run, its spikes, its graph patterns are very. They're not like above average. They're just sort of soft, compared to all-time more significant DreamBot runs. I'm not saying that it's meaningless. I'm saying that these differences are like softer or duller. So like, yes, it is definitely, in my opinion, very extreme, expanding, and positive run. But it's not as intense as like two CIRF before, where the surge scores from the group, if you add them all up, would be significantly higher. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or whatever. My bit rate is apparently, I'm got a warning that says it's lower than recommended. So I don't know what that means for you guys, but it's there. All right. So, I'd like your thoughts on the DreamBot. And for now, we're going to do a reading. We're going to do an oracle reading. Oh, did I mention in the astrology we're getting ready for the... Oh, yeah, I did. Okay, so full moon in Aries is coming up next. In terms of lunar phase, it's on Monday. And should be pretty powerful if you've seen the CIRF report. If you haven't seen the CIRF report, then I've got the link down below in the show notes. I recommend that after this. And I will answer your questions if I can. Right now, let's do an oracle reading. We need a planet in a zodiac sign and a house. And then that will help us. Help us with what? Help us learn. Going back to the DreamBot. Help us learn so that we can have a positive future. Does it feel like collective is headed towards positive? Okay, so what this reading is for is imminent advice. So for the viewers who are watching, even on the recording later, so now and the next few days, what is the best advice for our readers? And what should we pay attention to or focus on for maximum positive effects? And I'm just waiting for that single card without looking. There it is. Venus. Venus is our planet. And now, just kind of rifling through, shuffling as I go, and waiting for that one card to pop out. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is freely, boisterously, impulsively, wisely. Venus is, well, values, passions, relationships, love, pleasure. Pleasure. So, expansive pleasure. Isn't that the DreamBot? Can't make this stuff up. In the ninth house of higher advanced level learning, there's the DreamBot again. Sheesh. Learning, wisdom, very Sagittarius, very related to Sagittarius. So ways in which we feel more spiritual or free to be ourselves, independent, kind of not detached per se, very engaged, but in things of passion, things that really resonate with you. Those are where the Sagittarius are the best. But learning, ninth house, learning. So how about we take pleasure in exploring what is the wisest but most passionate thing that you can think of for yourself, and that's how you're going to learn from life. boy, it does have that astrological feel to it, in my opinion. Let's look at that again. I think it does go back to the Grand Air Trine. Things are changing, and when things are changing, minds are changing, belief patterns are changing. Even how we learn. That's the Uranus aspect. How we learn is changing, and Pluto is down here with power and control and death and rebirth in the domain of disclosure, independence, freedom, rebelliousness, shaking things up. So this was shaking up the soul, the ego, the guiding light for your life towards balance, justice, has been changing. And then once transit Venus gets to this point, we'll have that Grand Air Trine again. Very, very transformed, but very powerful. And then, of course, the Aries full moon. And we'll talk about, we already did talk about that. So time to consider letting things go. Things that might have been keeping you back from being better Aries traits, or more balanced in that regard. So self-doubt, releasing that, releasing defensiveness, procrastination. These are wonderful things to sacrifice and give up to the Aries full moon. Okay, what do you guys think? Positive? Is it that's not going to make it for the algorithm? Is it positive? The algorithm wants negative and it wants fear. Well, I don't see a lot of fear in the collective mind. And I find it encouraging that it looks like people are waking up. According to this, it's feeling expansive. Now, that's not to say that there might be some, like a series of sort of negative. I don't even like the word negative and positive, because with each experience and subjectivity involved in free will, we have both positive and negative effects on most or all situations. So even though maybe it looks negative, or maybe it's painted as negative as the consensus reality script or narrative, doesn't mean that it's necessarily negative for self. And so perception comes into this. You can do the silver lining approach, or you can do just the more mindful, trying to see reality as it is instead of judging it as good and bad. And that doesn't mean you're not allowed to do anything about it, like make any change. But we know from motivation studies, ACT therapy model, ACT, acceptance and commitment, those studies, some of those studies on mental health disorders and efficacy test, are basically saying that, and this is kind of an Eastern mindset, but the Western mindset, I think, is more trained to avoid the thing that you don't like. And in doing so now, if you're trying to make a change, let's say like losing weight, it's a conditional acceptance on self. In other words, you don't accept this, the extra pounds or whatever you want to call the extra. And so we're going to fight something. We're going to fight the fat. We're going to fight the extra pounds. And now mentally, it's you versus the world. And although that's not wrong, there's a lot of potential consequences of that. First is procrastination, because maybe it's you overthink the size of this or the weight of the task, or you're basically prejudging it and then not wanting to feel that feeling that was more intense in the story than it was going to be in real life. So anyway, you versus the world is not a very good mentality. It might get you started for some personalities, but it's not a sustaining kind of a motivation. And so what would be far better is, even though you don't like the extra pounds in this example, it means accept self as you are now. Now, in that acceptance, we're not putting subjective adjectives in. So like, I'm, obese or whatever, or I'm ugly. Okay. So, that's a subjective measure. We're not accepting narratives. We're accepting facts. We're accepting things as they are. So, for example, you have like an ideal weight and a weigh-in weight. So currently, X amount of pounds. I accept that I am those pounds. I also can accept that I have a desire to change that. But the first for the mentality of enduring motivation on a task or a project is, I accept things as they are now, and that's an important word instead of but. So, and I'm accepting everything as it is, and here's what I want to change about it. I have a vision of what I want this to look like or be like or change. And so now it's not me against the world anymore. It's not me fighting something. It's me. It's almost like a jitsu, the way I understand it. It's where instead of fighting that momentum, you're using that energy, using that momentum, and putting the enemy on the ground. And or maybe that's another art form, but instead of karate, where I know you're like fighting another momentum, that's the first example of you versus the world. You're conditionally accepting the situation as it is. So we just want the facts, the bare facts. I accept that. This is how it is. And here's what I want to do about it. Or here's how I want to change it. Or here's how I want to try to keep this the same. This is why I like it. Whatever it is. Okay, so no comments, and that's okay, because I sprung this on you, gave you no lead time, no heads up, so sorry about that. All right, so in review, we have the reading Venus in Sagittarius. It's time to sink all of your pleasure, all of your values into the wisest, the most passionate activities. Just sink your excitement into those. The ones that are going to create the biggest wisdom are the ones that put you into a mode of spiritual. Like the 9th house is higher level learning. So, but follow your values. Follow your your highest level of excitement, like soul excitement. Okay. All right. That's it. And I appreciate you being here, everybody. This has been the DreamBot on the 1st of October. I hope you have a great week. Happy full moon on Monday.